of environmental significance. Furthermore, the Vasant Valley School encourages all the students to either be part of bus facility, which is CNG run, or at least be part of a carpool.
So as you can see, environmental education through initiatives like tree plantations, outreach programs have already been developed by the students of Vasant Valley School. For example, I conducted a theatre workshop with 15 children from the Dalit Ekta camp. These children learned how to express their personal hardships through social activist Augusto Boal's non-verbal theatre techniques. Problems such as sewage and waste accumulation outside their homes, shortage of water, and opposition of the MCD on the construction of their huts were all brought to life through short choreographed skits. Presenting these skits in front of an audience of Vasant Valley students gave these children a feeling of empowerment and was Vasant Valley's way of building an understanding relationship with the Dalil Ekta camp. We also hope to perform these skits before the families in C8. Since the last 22 years, Vasant Valley has been giving saplings to every member of the school during Diwali. We are extending this program to the community and schools in Vasant Kunj with the help of the MLA, who has provided us with a site and 15,000 saplings, which will be planted next year in the monsoon season. Our booklet on green practices and online calendar are also completed.
Now, as mentioned earlier, moving on to our budget, the first and foremost issues of lack of sanitation and water disposal have been taken care of already. But now the main and primary focus of our budget is going to be the segregation of waste, as was mentioned before, as well as education.
For segregation of waste, we need funding for awareness boards, a vermicompost pit, as well as color-coded dustbins.
Furthermore, we are also going to encourage capacity building and livelihood building by generating green jobs. What we're going to do is, by the money that we acquire, we're going to give and donate cycle rickshaws to the members of the Dalit Ekta camp, who will then be employed in the C8 community to collect the garbage. This will not only generate green jobs, but will also raise a lot of awareness about pertinent environmental issues. Furthermore, the planting of saplings, naming trees, as well as bird feeders are extremely important for the preservation of biodiversity and the conservation of habitat and wildlife. As mentioned before, these things have already been taken care of and they're displayed on the slideshow. Now, when we talk about the community center will have a lot of things, as mentioned before. These will be a community learning and training center, computers, seating, books and stationery, etc. And all of these require funding and
We have achieved a lot, but we have a long, long way to go for our community and its residents to have a life of basic amenities that we take for granted, such as water, toilets, and education.
We need to realize that it is our moral obligation as the citizens of India who live in a world which is becoming increasingly detached and indifferent to take less, give back, and reach out. And with that, we thank you for your time.
Too much of a hurry. Why are you so tense, yaar, all of you? Huh? Be cool, huh? Rest of the teams. Okay, I have a couple of questions on your presentation. You talked about the possibility of a tube well being placed. You know what kind of sewage system Sulabh has? Any idea what that is?
Yeah, first we met the Maulvi and Pradhan of the Dalit Ekta camp, and we studied the area and inferred that it requires a hydraulic system of water distribution.
Okay, and you talked about the possibility of a tube well being created, and there's already a toilet complex there, you said.
No,
or one being built there, a toilet complex. Sulabh, if I remember correctly, is it connected to the main sewerage system? Any?
The toilets,
Did you? Yeah, the toilets.
The
Or
toilets.
is it a septic tank?
the toilets that are going to be built.
Yeah.
We had a successful meeting with the MLA who promised us and showed us also that the construction of toilets and the repairing of the sewage system has already begun. So they are both.
Any idea? I'm just asking. Yes, they have begun, but any idea whether they are septic tanks or? And I have a reason for asking this. Whether they are septic tanks or whether it's connected to the sewerage system. Mainly.
We are installing syntax tanks in the community.
No, no, no.
It's yeah.
You're not getting my question. The reason, and I explained to you why I'm asking this question. If you have a septic tank, which means that the sewage is going to sit there and will be treated on its own. It's not pumping out of that local area. You have to be very sure about where you are going to place your tube well. Because what happens is that there can be leaching of that sewage into your main water aquifer where you have your tube well. So you have to be sure that the aquifer movement, of course this is slightly scientific, but since you have done so much work, I thought you should go back and check that. Whether they have a septic tank. If it's a septic tank, make sure, or talk to the engineer or talk to the people there and make sure that the tube well is not placed right next to it.
We'll find the appropriate place for the placement of the tube well.
That's one. The second one, you talked about community centers and you talked about after school. Does Vasant Valley provide its facilities for such children to sort of spend a couple of hours there?
Vasant Valley has a weekly program wherein every Monday and Wednesday after school, children from the Dalit Ekta camp who are actually going to school come to the school in order to acquire more education and so that we can facilitate their learning process. So yes, they do use our facilities and they come after everyone goes home, and certain volunteers from the student body actually stay back to impart education to them.
Excellent.
I just have something to add to Balas. I think what we are trying to get to is when you're providing a sewage system, just be careful about, because in the Green Building Council you can get a lot of learning for sewage treatment plant. It doesn't cost an arm and a leg. And Bala represents the United Technology, there are plenty of money available for this corporate responsibility. So my suggestion would be consider, if there is no connection of the sewage to the city lines, try not to create a septic tank, because that is not an answer. Try to create a sewage treatment plant in which the entire black and grey water coming will be treated, can be recycled for their gardening and so on and so forth, or give back to the city treated water. The rest of the country does. And in any case, our regulation requires the community that there should be eventually be provided with a sewage treatment plant or a sewage connection. So when you are back, maybe try to work out sewage connection is the best possibility if that happens. But that may take a long, long time to happen. And your mission is immediate. So you can consider, in place of a septic tank, consider providing a sewage treatment plant. Okay? And in the Vasant Valley School, you'll have plenty of parents who will have knowledge of it. You can download from the internet what is the SCP. Consider that maybe one of the program for later on that you provide an STP.
I just have a couple of observations from your report. There are two initiatives on community awareness initiative. One is what you are going to do with the C8 colony, and the second one is the Dalit Ekta camp. Have you at some point thought of integration of both these, because they are so heavily dependent on each other, and the objectives in the C8 are totally different with the objectives of the Dalit Ekta camp, where you are talking about join hands with C8 coming to recycle their waste, thereby leaving a positive impact on the surrounding environment. This is one of your aim of the project in the Dalit Ekta camp. But why do you say join hands with C8 community? Are you saying the members of Dalit Ekta camp will join hands with the C8 colony people? Or where is the integration? Like, it shouldn't happen that these two communities you will just work with those two communities separately, and there will be no interface between the two of them.
Right. Thank you for your question. Actually, as we had mentioned before, these two communities, as you rightly observed, are different from each other. They have different objectives. But the fact is that they are integrated in many ways. So when we said that we want to join hands with the two communities, we're trying to say that, for instance, like we gave you the example of waste segregation. In the C8 residential suburban community, waste segregation is actually only possible as a joint effort with the members of the Dalit Ekta camp, because the fact is that the members of the Dalit Ekta camp are employed as the house servants, the domestic help, and the garbage collectors in the C8 community. So unless and until the members of the Dalit Ekta camp are actually educated about this entire issue, about waste segregation cannot happen. So our objective is largely to make sure that these members of the Dalit Ekta camp are empowered and that they can help segregate the waste and make sure that the entire process is sustained.
Okay. Just one sentence which I liked, I think the second speaker, she mentioned, which I think is worthwhile and I think should be taken by all of us here, is educate each other. Because normally what we always say that I'm going to educate them, but you never say educate each other. I think that's a very important thing, that we should educate each other and not always think that we know everything and we are not going to learn. It has to be a cross-pollination.
Yeah,
Like
we
even
believe
Dalit
that-
Ekta camp people may have something new to share with us. So I like that sentence a lot.
We believe that learning is always a two-way process, so we have to learn from them and they can also learn from us in turn, and we can become a better community and move towards a greener future this way.
Okay, for example, from the Dalit Ekta colony, I have learned that they have minimal resources, and once I went to their community, I watched how they use such limited resources and share it amongst themselves, whereas we don't really keep a check on our resources, and they have limited resources, and they try and handle them.
You spoke about resources. I'm sorry I'm hogging the time here. But you also talked about doing a water and carbon footprint. Was that for Dalit Ekta camp or was that for C8? That was for C8.
This Dalit Ekta camp, you said, is a squatter settlement.
Yeah.
The government of India has certain programs for squatter settlements and improvement of squatter settlements all over the country. Have you looked at any of these provisions? Your recommendations, will they be kind of embedded into those programs?
When we first collected the data, when we further collected the data, and after recently, only before coming to Hyderabad, we had a successful meeting with the MLA, and initially our aim was to provide toilets because we realized they had lack of sanitation and lack of toilet facilities. So then we realized that the MLA is providing has already started building the toilets, and it should be done by late December, and the sewage line has also has started being remade.
In terms of improving their structures,
Yeah,
is there
because
any effort being made?
in terms of, because in the wherever they have the empty space at the back, they started building toilets, and also the MLA is working on making a community park inside the Dalit Ekta camp.
I think what Dr. Ganesh is actually referring to here is the actual house itself.
Yeah.
Is it still a Juggi Jhopadi or are people looking at making some pakka houses?
The houses are made, they're small, but they're made from cement, so they're not like tents, or they're not like made from the things. So that's already provided. That's why we planned to work towards the next step, which is providing them with water and providing them with toilets and education, which is more now necessary because they already have proper housing to live in.
Okay, thank you.
Is this one of the regularized colony that they can stay there?
No, this is an unauthorized settlement. It's not regular.
Okay. Now, but I think the concern here is once you do all this, will the children and all you are doing, will they be allowed to stay there, or they have to move on after maybe a year or 2 years or something?
When we met the MLA, our first question to him was this, that it's since it's not regularized, will it be legal? But we have been told that it is legal and any action can be taken and they will support us through it.
Okay. So I think one of the concern here, my suggestion would be for you to consider, if there are any going to make homes, what is the population of this camp?
There are about 300 families with an average of 6 members per family.
See, there are very good systems available to us through council, and you can download from the internet, where we can provide them a green home. We are doing a lot of work across the country, and you are doing something wonderful, because these are the people who don't have a voice. They don't have any say in the matter. Where Vasant Valley, you children are providing them a voice by which you can go to MLA. On their end, they could never step into MLA's office. They'll be thrown out. So I think educate them also. Whatever they are building in that area should be a green home. What it means is, it should be daylit, should require minimum lighting through the day, it should be well ventilated. Are you concerned with some of those? Have you addressed some of those issues with them? When you are empowering them, and they are anyway building, build them a home which is what we call a green home, which will be more better ventilated, daylit, healthier place to be.
Yes. So once we are done with these basic amenities, providing them with them, we will surely make it a green home.
Yeah, since you are anyway educating them and yourselves also, this best way both of you can learn together.
Yeah, and also
how
what
to
you...
make a green home at a minimal price.
Okay, and what you mentioned about, making them aware of green buildings, when we do interactive plays with them, and when we, talk to them, all these problems come up, and we talk to them about it. So they are well aware of the fact that, what can be eco-friendly and what can't. So that way they are well aware.
And also, when we first went to their houses and observed the conditions over there, the first thing that came to our mind was to give them a life of dignity, a life of respect, something that each and every individual needs, something like water, something like sanitation, something like education. And that's what our first goal, our ultimate aim is. And after that, we surely will try to inculcate more eco-friendly practices in the community.
Akshar School, Calcutta. And friends, I should have done this with the LA group also. Can you also introduce yourself individually? Thank you.
I'm Chandranath Banerjee of Akshar School. I'm in class 10.
I'm Gaurav Balakrishnan from Akshar School, class 10.
Adit Patel, Akshar School, class 10.
Before beginning with the presentation, I would like to say that we're very honored and privileged that we are at the same venue where the world spoke about biodiversity recently. Now we could begin the presentation. Your friendly neighborhood Earth Warriors. Welcome to the world of Akshar. Akshar is a school with a difference, which was established in 1998. It is an inclusive school where children with special needs study along with the mainstream children. From the picture given itself, you can see how caring Akshar is towards the environment. The entrance features illustrations of the animal kingdom. Along with the appealing gate, you can also see that we've paid special attention towards preserving nature. So let's use the key to unlock the world of Akshar. Akshar's nature club, the Earth Warriors, has been working consistently within the school's neighborhood. The Green Eye contest provides further motivation for us to work even harder, ushering in ideals that would create a sustainable neighborhood.
So these are our core principles. 1, the ripple effect. We have been inspired by an idea showcased in the movie called Pay It Forward. Our school is the focal point where awareness is raised and children are encouraged to do work for a clean environment. And they in turn can encourage their neighbors to do the same. They can encourage their family members to do the same. They can encourage their friends to do the same. We have asked them to make their respective buildings and complexes as eco-friendly as possible. I would like to first ask all of you to pay attention to the board where we have a diagram to explain this concept better.
Friends, can you bring the board closer? We are all over there. Bring the center. Put in the center here. Not everybody. You speak for yourself. Very clear. It's a lady. There is only one person who can say it from this one.
So like I said, Akshar is the focal point. From here, we have, say, 3 categories. One, the students. We are a small school. We have a strength of about 500, 550 students. We have, apart from the students, then we have teachers. We have a teaching body of about 60 teachers. Then we have parents. And why parents are part of it? They are a direct link. And why? Because they are coming to drop their children to school. They are seeing our various activities, they're seeing our eco-friendly projects, so they too are a direct contact to our school. So from there, these students